Hey, gentlemen, you both received your instructions in the dressing rooms. Obey the commands. Protect yourselves at all times. Right now, we're going to call it here, just under the letters. Right here, just under the letters, all right? Tap it up. Let's go to work.
Boxing fantasy tonight becomes reality in the garden. Lomachenko against Rigondeaux. Loma against Rigo. Two of boxing's very best are going to settle it out over 12 rounds for the WBO super featherweight title. Who's the best? Let's find out. And I suspect the first thing, Barry, people will be looking for is how cagey will Rigondeaux be? To what extent is he going to try and grab this opportunity? Will he revert to type, or after demanding, clamouring from, saying that he was the best, wanting the big fights, now he's got his opportunity, how's he going to go about it?
Well, where he has the bit of an advantage, he's probably the better one-punch counter-puncher. I think Lomachenko throws in combinations in spurts, where Rigondeaux likes to throw the single shot, especially with the backhand, with that left hand from the southpaw stance right down through the guard, and that'll just maybe take Lomachenko off his game for a little while. And it's all about making mistakes. When you've got this level of expertise, this level of the skill level they got, it's about who makes the least mistakes.
Rigondeaux on the front foot. Lomachenko's just having a look through the first minute. And of course, Barry talking about that one-punch power. Second round against Jazza Dickens in Cardiff, was it? Last July, broke his jaw with that one-punch power. But that was at Super Bantam, now he's up at Super Feather.
Just seen Rigondeaux there, make Lomachenko miss, but he dipped down to the left. And then Lomachenko just took a step to round the side, but stayed close to the target. And that's ready to counter when Rigondeaux stands back up and gets a little bit taller again. I think that's going to be important for Lomachenko, to move around the target more, not so back in straight lines, which he never does.
And actually, that we saw in the changing rooms earlier on, that very motion there, the referee and the Lomachenko team, they were kind of in almost miming conversation without words, only actions, about what would happen when they got up close, and we just saw it there.
Exactly
Rigondeaux just held his arms together, didn't he? And Lomachenko kind of asked the referee what was he allowed to do. He cheekily saying, am I allowed to headbutt him in the stomach?
Certainly done their homework.
A little nod there from Lomachenko to Rigondeaux. I'm sure there's respect. Rigondeaux said it's going to be a massacre. Lomachenko just expects to win. Although in fairness, Rigo did cheekily say that once he's beaten Lomachenko, he'll take on Joshua and Wilder afterwards.
And do you know what? He'd fancy his chances as well.
He probably would. They probably both would. Well, the first round has gone by in a blur, and you have to say it's been a positive start in a round where not much is happening. It's Rigondeaux who's trying to assert himself on the front foot.
He's taken the centre of the ring where nobody's done enough for me, Alex, to win the round yet.
But in the modern way, where it's 10-point must anyway, but they're loath to give drawn rounds on scorecards, but people might edge towards Rigondeaux.
That's right, but for me, I couldn't. I'll just split when no one really landed with any punches. They're looking for each other. A lot of feinting, a lot of assessing, but not really much work done because neither one wants to make that mistake. So I couldn't split them at all in that round.
Such a buzz. It really has, just in the last week. I'm sure Bob Arum and the top rank team must be slightly ruining the fact that they didn't take it upstairs, because it really has captured the imagination in the last week or so. It's not untypical for Lomachenko just to have a look in the first couple of minutes.
And even Rigondeaux to that, in certain respects. This is just what you were talking about here with the holding.
This is exactly it. That point there, we saw it. If you weren't with us earlier on, folks, we saw exactly those pictures, and there is it unfolding.
And Lomachenko was going to do exactly what the referee said you couldn't do, is use your head against the chest to pull away.
Here we go then, into the second round. Is Lomachenko going to up his game? And let's not forget, Rigondeaux, the smaller man, he's been down 4 times in his career, Barry. Remember that tussle in Japan not so long ago?
Yeah, he can be hit and he hurt. But just a lovely step back. So he looks like he's leaning back, Rigondeaux, but he almost keeps that front foot where it is and takes a big step back with the back foot. So he puts all the weight on the back foot, then he fires back then with that left hand.
Down twice in the 7th round, wasn't he, against Amagasa, out in Osaka, but that was 3 years ago, in fairness to him.
I wonder if they won't be as fluent in their work because they're going to be so worried about making a mistake that, you know, even Rigondeaux, where he's more defensive and does a lovely movements, you know, rolling underneath the target, whether he'll be a little bit not as neat because he'll be worried about what's coming back from Lomachenko, knowing that he's very quick and very clever. And the same with Lomachenko, whether, you know, he's not willing to let his hands go just yet because he knows Rigondeaux can make you miss and certainly make you pay with the counter punch.
He's strong, Rigondeaux, isn't he? Yeah. He's able to hold Lomachenko up in the clinch, and that's twice they've clinched, and twice he's managed to grab hold of the Ukrainian, and he can't work up close.
But Lomachenko just shown a few things there, you know, moving quick around the target. He's done it twice in this round. Hasn't capitalised on it just yet. But that moving close to the target, where Rigondeaux is a bigger arc, more defensive pivot on the front foot.
And I think the referee's aware of the holding so much that as soon as they break, he's letting Lomachenko work, and he just clipped him there, Loma. The jab starting to work as well for Lomachenko. It's been a good start for Rigondeaux, but you just sense now Lomachenko's starting to warm the engines on this chilly New York winter night.
That's good there from Lomachenko.
The thing about Lomachenko has been the way he's basically bullied some tough guys. He made Walters quit.
He did, but and it's call it bully. It's just the movement around the target. They just can't find him to fire back and hold half the time. They're always moving around the blind side of you. This Rigondeaux terribly holding there.
Oh, he's blatant. And it's blatant. The referee's going to have to get a hold of this himself. Maybe a low one there from
holding and hitting there from Rigondeaux.
You wouldn't play him at cards, would you, Rigondeaux? I remember Steve let us a little bit of highlight and drama at the end of that one. The crowd have been into it right from the start. Fantastic buzz, but remember Steve Lillis, our caller, said that he spent some time around Rigondeaux, and he surly, barely smiled apart from when he put a cookie in his mouth.
He's never happy. He's got that sort of poker face where you don't know if he's hurt, tired, happy, angry. You just can't tell his emotions, which has been great for his career because he's hard to read. But for me, I thought Lomachenko was the one landed with the cleaner shots.
Well, again, he just budged him there.
Yeah, just off balance.
Off
so
balance?
I think so, because he's close to the target.
And in a small way, latterly, I felt a little bit sorry for Rigondeaux. I think the night, and I was ringside for Cotto Canelo, Barry, 2 years ago, pretty much now. Yep. And that night, he had been off for a year, they'd taken his WBA title, but that was the night on a big show on TV when he went the 10 rounds. That was his stage to shine, and that was the night I think people kind of gave up on him a little bit.
Beating Nonito Donaire, and he beat him at the time where Donaire was like #2 in the world pound for pound, and that should have been his catapult to stardom, and it never quite worked out for him. And sometimes, you know, he shot himself in the foot a few times with that example there on a huge stage, and he, you know, when he needs to produce his best, and he can't.
And yet, last time we saw him back in June, in that stunning stoppage of Moises Flores, and it came on the bell. And in the end, there was all the hullabaloo, and it became a no contest, even when he's spectacular. It doesn't work out for him. Well, this is his chance. This is his night. If he can make it so.
He's quite clever in the last round, for me, Lomachenko, because he's still being cautious, still staying safe. But just there you go, just being busy enough. And that little, he always dips to the left. Does Rigondeaux when he evades.
And do you get little glimpses here in these flurries that he might be able to bully Rigondeaux.
Yeah, well, I just think his vision, more than bullying with his physical strength, I think it's still the technique from Lomachenko, and that's maybe giving him the better of the fight so far. Not by much. But again, Rigondeaux's happy to make you miss. He sometimes forgets to let his hands go.
Fast hands there from Lomachenko.
He's more committed to the attacks, isn't he, Lomachenko? He's always thinking we'll get out of the way straight, as soon as he's throwing the punches. But once he decides to throw a combination, he lets it go. And listen, Rigondeaux's not getting caught with anything of any note. A lot of them are scuffing shots. But if it stays the same, it's going to be another round in the bag for Lomachenko.
And all that holding up close, that he's taken quite a bit of strength to do that. Does that tax and toll?
Well, it does, but it also takes energy away. If Lomachenko's pulling, then it takes energy away from him also. More energy from Lomachenko. The worry is the referee starts taking points away.
Well, he's telling him now. I mean, he's audibly and loudly telling him, stop holding. And now he's warning him. I don't think that was a warning in so much as it'll be a point next time. But
lovely from Lomachenko there. 3 uppercuts with the right hand. Oh, good shot. Look at them both pivoting on the front foot. Lomachenko with that big wide arc defensive spin.
That's right.
Rigondeaux, sorry, with that big defensive, and Lomachenko going with him straight away.
Well, certainly it looks like Lomachenko has upped his game. He's going through the gears now.
Yeah, it's another round for me for Lomachenko, and that's 2 on a spin for him now. Again, he's not dominating anything, but he's doing the more. He's the only one being productive. With Rigondeaux's looking to make Lomachenko miss and not really committing to counter. And that might be the fact that it's the physical size of Lomachenko.
His father Anatoly, of course, always part of the setup. He's part of those the Ukrainian surge in California in Oxnard, isn't he, with Usyk and Vojtik, who's surely going to get his chance soon. Another coming force.
Oh, what an easy job training one of these two. What a money for nothing. Except for this fight.
Yeah, and I wonder, with guys like these, I wonder how much they look at the opponent. They're so good. Do they just say, I'll do what I do, and he can worry about me?
I think for the best part, they probably don't as much. Though I think everyone you do your due diligence. But I think in this fight they must have, and you could tell that by when the referee went in to do for the instructions, and they were talking. The holding. They've obviously studied that from Rigondeaux. See, this is size difference there, where I think that's the judgment of distance, because Lomachenko's bigger, and Rigondeaux, he's just sitting back on the back foot usually with evade shots, because he's boxing the guys who are just maybe a little bit too big. He's not quite out the range, but he needs to commit himself now, Rigondeaux. And I don't mean like go guns blazing, but that left hand, he needs to fire it through the guard.
And this is actually more the template pattern style that we perhaps expected.
Yeah,
Barry now.
Getting a bit too low there.
Crowd like that. The sort of matador. Well, the Chacal, as he's known, El Chacal.
Boxing well now, starting to get some rhythm to his work. Lomachenko.
And he's scoring, even although Rigondeaux's not really copping too much flack here. It is Lomachenko who's making the fight, forcing it. Well, those are illegal punches, but he's almost head down.
He's ducking below the belt, so he shouldn't be punching on the back of the head, but he should also be warning Rigondeaux about ducking too low.
Well, Rigondeaux's face has never really been on the canvas, even although he's been down on it 4 times, but his face was pretty much pointing down towards it there.
He's looking at those sneaky shots, Rigondeaux, but just needs to get that left hand into play. That's the shot that's gonna, if anything, just stop Lomachenko in his tracks, earn his respect.
And he's been frustrating and wearing down opponents, outclassing them rather than sort of big, flashy one-punch,
Of course, yeah. But
destructive.
But I think, oh, there you go. He went for it there, Rigondeaux, with that left hand. Not far off either. And that was probably better defensive work from Lomachenko rather than Rigondeaux missing or not lining up the target correctly.
And Lomachenko doesn't really use a guard, does he? He just relies on complete movement, fluidity,
judgment of
reflexes.
distance. They both have excellent judgment of the distance. And at the moment, because he's maybe a little bit bigger, Lomachenko's is using his bit more effective.
There's a little bit of the showmanship that Lomachenko's shown in previous fights. He does like to entertain, and he's trying to do his bit. They're happy in that corner.
Yeah, well, you know, he's up for me. He's up for one even. I get the first round even, but nothing happened. And the last three have been all Lomachenko, and that was his best round to date.
Some people might have given Rigo the first. Completely nothing much happened. They hardly landed any punches. So I think some people might have given Rigondeaux that first round, but even if they did, Barry, you'd have Loma up by 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, for me, yeah, I got him in the last 3 rounds, and I think he's boxing quite well, quite comfortably, and he's definitely in control without mastering it at the moment. Rigondeaux, he almost looks like he's starting to feel sorry for himself. I don't think he's going to quit or anything like that, but he's not doing anything. He's trying to sit low, but he's not really using that pivot on the front foot as much as I thought he would, and he needs to fire back through that. He's thrown that backhand, that left hand from the southpaw stance once. He missed, but at least he threw it. You've got to let it go more often. He has to commit to his attacks and earn the respect of Lomachenko.
Lomachenko won the world title, of course, in his 3rd pro fight. Rigondeaux in his 9th. They were both fast-tracked to world title success. And you suspect that Rigondeaux has felt underappreciated in his boxing life, certainly in his professional career. How much is that going to be an impetus, a motivation for him tonight?
Well, you would think so, you know, because even in this fight, most people are fancying Lomachenko for the win, so he goes in an underdog, and he's the guy who's never been beat.
He was sent as a young child, Lomachenko, to Ukrainian folk dance lessons. His dad says that's why he's got such unique, fast footwork. I don't think many of us, or any of us, have seen anything quite like it in a professional boxing ring before.
No, it's a pretty unique style, but also so is Rigondeaux. That's good for Lomachenko. Boxing very well. Again, it's not so much the strength or the weight to punch with the size, it's the physical presence. That's putting Rigondeaux under pressure.
And it's not as if the ratio of punches landed is high. Not eye-catching shots either. There's a lot of missed punches here, Barry.
But he doesn't mind that. He's happy for that. You throw 6, you hit with 3. That's a good success rate.
Last time. That's the last warning there. You just heard it, Steve Willis. Oh, nice little short left hand from Rigondeaux got through. Needs more of that. Is that woken him up? Reignited the passion in him. I think Lomachenko, he needs to keep his composure tonight if these tactics are to continue from Rigondeaux.
Yeah, what he can do, because Rigondeaux won't throw anything for a long time. But he can't think he's not going to throw anything at all, because then once you start thinking you can just walk through him, he'll fire that left hand right through to the center of your guards, and he's done it in the past. You
also can't expect, Barry, the judges to be necessarily looking kindly.
Ooh, not far off with that left hand right there, Rigondeaux. But it's, again, still, Alex, is still Lomachenko forcing the play and landing with most of the shots. if not all of them.
Let's not forget Rigondeaux's 37, and he's only fought, well, not even 3 rounds in 2 years.
But he got no miles on the clock.
Oh, a little flooding at the end. That's twice at the end of the round. There's just been a little bit of hoo-ha. The fans are loving it, absolutely loving it. There's been loads of love for Rigo around New York in Fight Week. Actually, in the theatre tonight, it's the Ukrainians are making themselves heard.
But he's winning everything for me so far, Lomachenko. And I thought he would force Rigondeaux to fight, and I think it's got to a... Oh, that was a sneaky little left hand there from Lomachenko. And I think he's doing the things to force Rigondeaux to fight. But Rigondeaux's still looking to be defensive and stay nice and low, not pivoting as much as I thought he would.
You can just see the left eye of Lomachenko. He actually came into the ring with that sort of blemish. It's a blemish that came when he fought Mariagas, the first time in the sort of professional ranks he's actually picked up any sort of marking at all. I think he kind of prides himself on that. But when you bear in mind some of the roughhouse fighters he's been in with, Martinez, Walters, Sosa and Mariaga, he's been in with some pretty tough dudes and he's worn down all of them.
Salido was that was his only defeat. He was outmanned.
And do you know what?
Old man out of the fight.
If they'd gone 2 rounds more, he might have stopped Salido that night.
Yeah, no, but he learned his lesson there, and that will never happen to him again.
Best thing that,
really
in a strange way, that could have happened.
No, it most definitely was.
And no one's really talking. You know, he's got a blemish on his record, but we don't really talk about it now.
No, because if that was a rematch, then Lomachenko dominates massively, and we know that.
Actually, he's been offered the fight. Salido in action over in Vegas tonight as well. He's been offered the fight, and all the word is that he's priced himself out of it.
So would I.
Me too.
So usually it's Rigondeaux who's turning his opponent, and now it's Lomachenko that's turning Rigondeaux, and I think he's struggling with that for the minute.
Let's fly, but misses with those punches. Rigo.
Good jab there though from Rigondeaux.
But he surely needs to do more, Barry.
Oh, he needs to do a lot more. It's good there from Lomachenko. There's nothing's heavy with the shots. It's almost like he's touching the target. But
yes.
He's the only one for the best part letting his hands go.
Yeah, I think you're right, and there he's been held again. I mean, I think he nearly elbowed in there, Rigo.
This is the start of it.
It might be the point. Yes, first point. Well, you can't. It's been in the post, my friend. It's been in the post, I'm afraid.
Do you know what? If this stays to the same pattern, Rigondeaux could lose this in a shutout.
Oh,
would you ever say that in your life?
Ever have thought that? Well, let's see. We're halfway, but there is a pattern developing.
Oh, good shot.
Nice left hand there. And again, he's being held up close, Lomachenko.
See, that's just a habit that is from Rigondeaux. Oh, a little bit of a wobble in the leg there from Rigondeaux.
Yeah, was that just a stumble because he was holding him? Lomachenko's onto him like a flash.
See, there's a difference. That pivot, that spin on the front foot for Lomachenko. He stays nice and close to the target. And once he gets on the side of you, he fires back. And you can't defend against that. You can't see where the punches are coming from.
Big round.
10-8 round there for
Big
Lomachenko.
round for Lomachenko. On the cards, maybe just in terms of a platform for the fight itself.
Well, for me, Lomachenko hasn't lost a round. I give the first round even because no one did anything. And then it's been all Lomachenko. And for that first round I gave even, then that was a 10-8 round for Lomachenko because of the public warning. He's massively ahead. Massively ahead. Rigondeaux's got to put out something special now. Really has.
He had in the previous round, he had that little short left hand, didn't he? But there's only tiny little cameos, and now he's just inviting the pressure from Lomachenko.
I think he's finished.
Oh,
no,
he's out. No, he's out. The corner have pulled him out. Well, for whatever reason, it looks like Lomachenko has made another opponent.
Didn't I say feeling sorry for himself?
You just can never tell from his facial expression, but he was being, if there's such a phrase as mildly bullied, he was being pushed around.
Hang on a minute. Like, I give Nicholas Walters so much criticism for quitting against a guy who wasn't beating him up, was just giving him a boxing lesson. Lomachenko was winning that fight. He wasn't giving him a boxing lesson. He was just better than Rigondeaux. And if Rigondeaux was quit because of that, then that is just absolutely disgusting. And I wouldn't say this about any professional, usually, doesn't deserve his purse. If he's quit because of that, because he's losing, he feels sorry for himself, he doesn't deserve his purse. Because people have paid to watch this against two supreme masters of their trade.
And of course, the most famous no mass example is, of course, Duran, and there was frustration that night about maybe being mimicked and mocked and outsped and outthought. Did he feel perhaps that he was being bullied and the referee wasn't on his side, and maybe he just felt, I can't win tonight?
Well, maybe, even though what's going to happen is he's hurt his hand. That's what's going to happen, and I understand that if you've hurt your hand. But
there was no show, Barry. There was no show at any point.
It's the biggest fight of your life. I can't say he hurt his hand when he didn't throw any punches, for one, to be honest. I can't believe I'm criticising Rigondeaux. It's almost embarrassing that someone at my level will criticise a genius like this. But it's an insult to every honest professional fighter and fan, to be honest, to see a guy like this with all this ability and skill quit because, if this is what's happened, by the way, quit because he's getting outboxed and outthought by a better fighter.
He has talked about and demanded and blamed other fighters for not getting in the ring with him for years and years and years. And he had a guy who was more than willing tonight to go in the ring with him, and they were in the ring. It looks like it might be an issue with a hand. Oh no! Just what a shame. Because as boxing fans, we have looked forward to this for so long.
Sorry, Alex, I can't swallow that it's the hand. I can't. I just think
there's you can see the sort of the communication between the fighter and his cornerman.
If it is his hand, I apologise for that. But even then, I'm not even sure. Depending on how bad the hand is, no, I'm not even sure if I can even excuse that in a fight of this magnitude, the biggest fight of your life, of your professional career, most certainly.
Well, listen, we saw Arthur Abraham fight with a broken jaw for 8 rounds.
But everyone's different, and
sure,
different pains,
sure.
a different thing, and you don't know what. And I understand that. Not everyone's as crazy as an Abraham, but in a fight of this level, I don't see where he hurt. Where did he hurt his hand?
There was no shot. But listen,
that's the left hand that he wasn't using as well, by the way.
Well,
so I just can't see it.
It's deeply frustrating, and that's going to be a difficult one for boxing fans to swallow. There's no doubt about it.
Do you know what? I thought he felt sorry for himself, and I thought he was going to get disqualified. I had a feeling in my head he was going to get disqualified because he was losing everything. And then he couldn't. I know it would be an excuse why he lost, and he won a rematch, but it'll never happen again. Now, he's ruined his career. He would have been better off just getting beat fair and square.
Well, he wasn't even being beat up, really.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't taking that many.
Just like Nicholas Walters wasn't getting beat up, but he was getting frustrated and outboxed. But he wasn't. Rigondeaux wasn't really getting schooled.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden,
it's in the books, folks, and here's the official confirmation of it.
Rigondeaux has indicated an injury to his left hand. His corner tells the referee he cannot continue. At the end of round 6, the winner by TKO victory, still the WBO super featherweight champion of the world, world, and the new claimant to pound for pound as the best fighter in the world, Vasyl Lomachenko.